Hook Me is a first impression series where I give a game 2 hours to get me hooked. 2 hours to judge a game? That's not enough. Right, it isn't. We'll do it anyways. And with all that out of the way, I guess there's only one thing left to say. Hook Me. Persona 4. Ah yes, Persona 4. Now, I don't know much about the Persona series, I will say that right away. What I do know is that it coming to PC is a big deal for a lot of people. I'm also aware of the general gameplay loop and that it's basically a mixture between turn-based combat a la Final Fantasy and a dating simulator. Other than that, I don't really know much about it. But hey, I liked Lord of the Rings: The Third Age and I loved the Fire Emblem series, so what could possibly go wrong? Oh god, what have I gotten myself into? Right away, I'd like to make one thing clear. 2 hours in this game are nothing. Hey, turns out lengthy, story-driven, heavily narrative-focused RPGs aren't a great medium for this kind of series. Who knew? Oh well, you live and you learn. Now, why do I say that 2 hours in this game are nothing? Because in these first 2 hours that I invested into the game, there was basically no gameplay. You weren't allowed to run around freely and I had a total of 2 short fights. The rest was just story. And usually that sounds like something I'd find bad at first, right? Well, oddly enough, I didn't. At all. The game just has a way of presenting itself that's so pleasant to soak up. The writing was really enjoyable, and all the characters I encountered so far were very likable. Well, except for the ones that you're not supposed to like in the first place.
This sad sack's been thrown from the big city out to the middle of nowhere like yesterday's garbage. And he's just as much of a loser here as he was there. So you girls better not get any ideas about hitting on him.
Before you call me out in the comments section, I know all you weeps want me to use the Japanese audio, cause using the English dub is basically heresy, right? But consider this, if I were to use the Japanese audio, people would actually have to read stuff. And reading is for nerds. So for the purpose of this video, I went with the English audio. Don't worry, I changed it to the Japanese later on, so you can delete that rage comment right away. All joking aside though, the English dub is still pretty good for the most part. Granted, I don't watch a ton of anime and I rarely do Japanese/English comparisons, but for the untrained ear, it's definitely good enough.
花村の時はどんなだったわけ？
なんていうか。そういや、お前の時は何もなかったよな。
In terms of the plot so far, I was prepared for some grade A anime bullshit. And you know what? It never came. At least not yet. The game threw me a complete curveball by starting this whole thing off as a murder mystery. Now, I'm not equipped to analyze the story or the writing, at least not to an extent where it would make sense to make a long video about it. What I can say is that it was really enjoyable to me, the characters were very likable, the story was really intriguing so far, and it did a great job of getting me hooked in the first few scenes.
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou art the one who opens the door.
The combat system so far seems very much genre standard. In dungeons you can surprise enemies from behind, which will give you a starting advantage in battle, meaning all your characters attack first. If it's the other way around and the enemy catches you off guard, then you will get a disadvantage, which means the enemy troops will go first. In regards to your companions, you can either have the AI take over for them and give them general guidelines, like go on the offense and attack, focus on supporting, or play defensively, or you can just take direct control of each character. Of course, there's also elements, so an enemy might be resistant to a certain element or especially weak to one. And if you hit an enemy with an element that it is weak to, you will get a bonus move. Another thing that I found pretty interesting is that after some fights you will get a shuffle time event, which is basically the game throwing a bunch of cards with effects at you and you get to choose which to pick. Now these can vary from, for example, additional EXP or gold to permanent stat upgrades for your personas or chest keys. Or some of them may have a negative effect but will allow you to pick more cards. Because if you are able to collect all the cards being thrown at you in a shuffle time, you will get a sweep bonus, which ensures that after the next fight you will get an additional shuffle time event, but you will be able to pick more cards from the get-go. And another thing that I really like was that social bonding events actually make sense in terms of progression as well, because bonding with a certain character will enhance their battle capabilities. So the game really encourages you to bond with your teammates and not just grind it out.
As you form bonds by becoming involved with others, your own social links will gradually develop. The power of these social links is what will determine your persona's abilities.
Also, the music is definitely something to take note of. For me, I group it into two different categories. There's the part of the soundtrack where it's just plain amazing. For example, whenever you stumble upon a crime scene, the musical cue and following soundtrack do a great job at creating tension and mystery.
Hey, what's that?
So that high schooler left school early, and as she came down this street...
The second part of the sound is where you first think, what the fuck is this? And, am I supposed to listen to this more often? And you know, half an hour later, you find yourself suddenly enjoying this weep shit.
Justice to them all. I face out, I hold out, I reach out to the truth. All my life since all the whole moment to now. Break away, oh God, let me out. Can you let me out? Can you set me free?
But no, it's actually well done. Overall, from what I've played so far, I really enjoyed the story, the combat system seems solid, and the social bonding aspects are or to me at least, very original and a great way to take a break from the monster hunting and shake things up a bit. Will I continue playing Persona 4? That's gonna be a definite yes. I'm really intrigued so far and I do plan on finishing the game. What about you? Did the Steam release of Persona 4 get you all hyped up? Have you played it before already? And if so, will you play it again? Or if, as me, you are new to the series, what do you think of it so far? Do let me know in the comments below. As always, this is Evolutionz signing out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.